Welcome back to the Rams Active channel. I'm your host, Rams Active, as usual. We have JT back with us, but we got a little extra special present for this episode. We have the first ever guest on the Rams Active channel, my good friend, Pierce DeLuna, aka Tuna. Tuna, how we doing?
Man, I'm living the dream, bro. I woke up today. I was like, I get to be on this podcast. I get to talk to my
Oh,
boys. Get to talk to no, seriously. Anytime I get a chance to just talk Rams football on a Sunday during the off season when we're all dying and bored and just counting down the calendar days until there's actual football back. UFL kind of scratches the itch a little bit, but no, I genuinely am excited to talk some Rams football with you guys today. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. As much as I do like seeing the Battlehawks play, it's not Rams football. It's not Rams football at all. So, um, just got to count down the days till training camp, and then after training camp, it's counting down to preseason, and after preseason, we're getting ready for the whole goddamn thing. So we got to get after it. Well, they got to get after it. I don't got to get after it. All I do is talk about it like they listen to me at all. JT, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Get to talk Rams football with two guys that obviously know what they're talking about. I know you mentioned the, I know you mentioned the Battlehawks. Do you see the Greatest Show on Turf was there? I think it was last night or the other night.
Yeah,
Were you
it
there?
was
That
it
was
was
pretty
Friday
cool.
night. That's kind of the reason I tuned into the game. I was just watching the game because there's nothing else on. Um, the presentation or whatever, it really was like weak. I mean, Mike Jones was there. That was cool.
That's
Different
pretty
Mill
cool.
was there, but I mean, as far as the presentation went, it just was like weak. Like it was just a guy on the announce PA whatever talking about him, and then halfway through the damn thing, just cut to commercial. I didn't even get to see all of it. I'm just like, come on, man,
No.
it's awful.
That's crazy. That's
Not a
crazy.
lot of not a lot of money in the UFL, man.
No,
Cut him some
no, not at
slack.
all.
But
Yeah.
that's I do root for the Battlehawks, just out of the St. Louis
Yeah,
connection. I'm
that's
like,
exactly
okay,
why I do.
no Rams there. Hakeem Butler, bro. He
Dude,
had some plays
he's
last season too, but he this season he's got a lot of highlights. He's fun to watch.
no. Did you pretty much blatant PI? Guy hugs him while the ball's coming down, still
Yeah.
catches it. That was
Oh, he like hopped on his back like a backpack.
no, yeah.
That shit was awesome.
Yeah, Pierce, tell them where they can go find you at. You're all over the place. You're not only a content creator, but you're also a writer and a damn good writer at that. So just tell them where you can find you.
I appreciate that, man. You don't gotta lie to them, but yeah, mostly on
No,
Twitter. Usually on Twitter, saying a lot of dumb stuff. Avoid there if you wanna keep some sanity. But Instagram, anything just first and tuna. The YouTube channel, obviously, and then Substack. Substack, obviously. Try to get you into some writing. Seeing some of your pieces come out, which is really cool. Always happy to see younger writers. It's just a dying medium, and so anytime I get a chance to tell somebody that's in the sports media space, you too, JT, put some ink to paper, man, because it's a underappreciated medium that I think too few people are very talented in, and I think young individuals like both of yourselves would see great returns if you like start writing more. And I know Rune's taking those steps. JT, I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar. I don't know if you have a
Yeah,
blog that you
no.
started as well,
I have a
but
I have a few
seeing how you
pieces out there.
speak, you definitely need to be writing more for sure.
Yeah, I have a few pieces out there from right after we got our new secondary, those moves in free agency. I wrote a little bit
Nice.
about that. I want to get out there and kind of give my opinion about Ty Simpson and really just the whole draft overall. All five guys that we've drafted. I know we're going to get into that today.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of hard because you have my podcast that I'm on, the Ramblin' Rams podcast, and then you have, you know, writing. I feel like is the same opinion, and I don't want to draw any views away from that. But at the same time, some people only want to read articles. Sometimes people aren't
Hmm.
into podcasts, so you got to go to a different audience, if you will. So I do really want to get into that. Maybe when the season gets closer, start writing about that more. But just maybe once a week, that kind of thing would be pretty cool. So I know you're very into writing. I know Rune mentioned that you're very talented in that field. So I definitely gotta get some more First and Tuna articles on my phone for sure. But yeah, Rune, I know you wanted to get more into the draft and just going over that. If you want to get into that for sure.
Yeah, we're pretty much just going to be going over the draft as a whole. Not a big class, only 5 players in this one. This is what you get to do when you don't have many holes on your team. You get the luxury of not really necessarily having to draft for need. You can go out and get some of those luxury guys that you see and just want to go out and get. Like guys like Tim Keenan, a lot of guys. I saw people saying, well, why do we get a D tackle when we have one of the best D lines in football? Is because they see something in him. And he's a guy who potentially beat out a familiar guy for a roster spot. Maybe he beats out a Larrell Murchison for a roster spot. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff that can happen come training camp time, as we saw with a couple of surprising cuts last year. But let's just kind of get into it. Kind of just starting off with the big one. Pick 13, probably one of the most controversial picks
Was
in
it?
Rams history. It was very controversial for about the first 24 hours. Um, Big Ty Simpson out of Alabama. Let's
That's
just go around the
hilarious.
table here. Let's just start
Awesome.
out by saying if we're a fan or not.
Oh, I'm sorry. That jersey.
Yeah,
Can you bring
no,
that up
that's
again?
yeah.
It's awesome. Let me see that again. That's awesome, dude.
So fresh off the press,
You don't
gotta
get
send
this
to
kind
the
of
Rams.
authenticity
Great
anywhere
news.
else.
No,
It's
no.
it's hilarious because the only teams you see do the whole tape on the back when they're like, begrudgingly showing up to a stadium as like the Browns when they got like
Yeah,
27 QBs on the back. And then you compare that to the Rams fan base where it's like, oh, what are we upset about QBs? It's like, oh man, we're just sometimes our QB only takes us to the Super Bowl and we don't win it. Like now
yeah.
we gotta be upset and ship them out.
I will. I will
Very
say this
different
right
problems.
now. I'll say this right now, and I will die on this hill. I love Jared Goff. I know Rune does not feel the same way that I do. I'm a huge Jared Goff fan and I've said this on this channel before, but I'll say it
Mm.
again. Uh, I am a huge Jared Goff fan because I grew up with the 7-9 St. Louis Rams. I remember being so happy as a little kid the one year we finished 7-8-1 because I thought that was good. That's what I was
Yeah.
used to growing up. And so seeing Jared Goff and Sean McVay and obviously guys like Aaron Donald take us to the Super Bowl. I know it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but being in the Super Bowl was such a big step from being a 4 to 7 win team like
Yeah.
we were every year. So I really think Jared Goff was such a big part of turning this franchise around and making it so successful to where it is today. So off topic, but I'm a big Jared Goff guy. I will throw that out there. I know
I'm not
Rune does
mad at that.
not feel the
That's
same
a pretty
way as I
base
do,
take.
but
Pretty
yeah,
base, to be honest. Yeah.
I wouldn't say I
I know.
hate Jared Goff. It's just the fact I didn't really get to appreciate him as much as you guys did because I really just started paying attention to football his last couple of years, which is kind of what forced him out of LA. I wouldn't well forced. I would say
Forced is
more.
fair.
I would
Yeah, he
say
got shipped
kind
out.
of
Yeah.
forced, but I think they saw an opportunity to go and get Stafford and like, would you rather have Matthew Stafford or rather have Jared Goff? And I mean, I'd rather have
I hear
Matthew
you.
Stafford any day of the week. Um, but no, let's get
I
more into
will. I
Ty
will say.
Simpson, man. Ty
I
Simpson
will say I'd take
is
Matthew Stafford over anybody right now. If there was a game tonight, and you said fantasy draft, you have to pick one quarterback to throw out there. Out of anybody in the world, I'm taking Matthew Stafford. I will throw that out there, but
Oh yeah,
Jared Goff is still a very good option. I will say that.
that's fair.
Yeah.
let's get into
Sorry,
more Ty Simpson though.
sorry to sidetrack that. My
No,
bad,
Yes.
it's
bro.
no,
Okay.
it's
No.
good. It gives us more to talk about, man. But Ty Simpson's a very interesting thing because you look at him and he has, I wouldn't say a exact. I I don't know how to word this. I wouldn't say he's super similar to Stafford, but there are some similarities that you can see. And one of the things that really stands out to me is the pocket presence from him. His ability to stay calm in the pocket, much like Stafford, definitely was like immediate to me. Like I saw that just from like the few couple minutes and highlights and stuff of film that I watched on him. Like that was like wow. And the fact he's more mobile too. Stafford, when you think of mobile quarterbacks, I think Stafford's probably bottom five that you will think of, you'll probably
Yeah.
think of like Brett Rippon before you'll think of Matthew Stafford mobility, and I don't want Brett Rippon in my brain at all. Um,
Mm,
but no, I'm really excited to see what he can do, and it's a project. That's why people are making fun of it. That's why they're saying, "Oh, you wasted pick 13 on Ty Simpson." Well, we again going back to drafting for need, the Ty Simpson pick wasn't necessarily a dire need. It was you have the luxury to get a quarterback that can sit under Stafford and McVay, soak up knowledge, be a sponge, and then when the time comes, he's ready to start and he's already learned a
yeah.
lot. Uh, and I don't know who exactly said this quote, but I've heard many times the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one. So I I have nothing but good things to say about this pick. Is it the best quarterback class? No. But is Ty Simpson awful? Like people are pretending he is? No.
No.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm curious to what you guys think, though.
I want to just kind of go off of the quote you said. The best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one. I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying I don't think that the Rams don't need a quarterback. Obviously, this season we don't need one because we have
Yeah.
the great Matthew Stafford. But I think Stafford is done after this year. I think in a perfect world, the Rams win the Super Bowl and he retires. I think either way, Stafford is done after this year because I don't think Sean McVay and Les Snead would draft a quarterback to sit more than 1 year. I don't think they would do it. I don't. So I think that having Ty Simpson is a great thing. I don't think they would have drafted him thinking, oh, we don't need a quarterback. Let's just take one anyways. They need a quarterback. It's just for the future. It's not for this season. And another thing I do want to point out that you mentioned that the certain needs that the Rams have is a starting quarterback right now one of them? No. But what else do they need? You know? Like it's not like we don't have Puka Nakua or Devonte Adams. It's not like we needed Makai Lemon to be our number one receiver because Stafford has no one to throw to. We didn't need Kenyon Sadiq because we don't have any tight ends. We have one of the best tight end groups in football, I believe. That's why we run 13 personnel so often. I, I don't understand why people have to make fun of this pick because there's better players on the board. There might have been certain players that are more talented at their position on the board, yes, but are you really going to use the 13th overall pick on what would be your team's wide receiver three? I don't necessarily think that that's a great thing to do. Is take a top 15 pick and use it on a wide receiver three or a position that you're really just not that in need of. You know what I mean? I think a quarterback for the future is their number one priority right now, and I think they hit on that pick. I'm hoping Ty Simpson can back me up by next year or the year after that, whenever it's going to be. Hopefully he makes me look a bit more smart. But uh, Tuna, what are your thoughts? I want to hear your opinion on the whole Ty Simpson thing.
Man, there's a lot. I do appreciate. I will say a few things leading into the draft. I do have to appreciate being validated on constantly referring to the Rams organization, how they handle leaks, how they handle news reports, and like the Rams are pretty tight lipped. You
Hmm.
look across the league, there's always rumors about this person here, this person, and a reporter. Wink, wink, or like, oh, this player's disgruntled. I mean, the reason the Puka Nakua news hit so hard is because we're just not accustomed to seeing drama come out of the Rams, and
Yeah.
that reminds me of the Belichick years in New England, where it is just kind of like, well, this is about football. Football, there's bullshit there. Like I can tell you for a fact, there's bullshit in the Rams organization. It's just they don't let it out,
Yeah.
and that feeds into other areas like who they're meeting with. Like they're super secretive with all their top 30 visits. They don't do them officially. They do them, the unofficial visits in their state. So a lot of appreciation for that led into the Ty Simpson pick. So I think it's warranted for the fans to sit there and be like, and I've said it on my podcast, like it better work. I'm a believer in Ty Simpson. I'm with it. I see the vision. I really do. I buy into what McVay and Les Snead are selling, but we also got to appreciate, like, okay, what do the 70,000 plus fans that show up to SoFi every Sunday? What do they want to see? They want to see wins today. That's great if we're going to be winning in 2 or 3 seasons and you got your quarterback. That's nice. What about this year? And so that's how where fans' minds are, and rightfully so, because they're paying a lot of money for season tickets to watch today's team. And so, like Room said, when like you're seeing Simpson's name get picked, and you got Makai Lemon, who's right there in LA. You got Kenyon Sadiq, Ruben Bain, like names that have been floated around on a lot of mock drafts for the Rams. And the logic there, and I'm only saying this to play devil's advocate of like not to just say like, oh yeah, we're on the same page. Like I agree with you guys, but I see where fans are coming from of like, hey, it's gonna be really hard to defend this McVay pick if Lemon is in Philly dropping 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. If Ruben Bain is winning Defensive Player of the Year and looks better than Jared Verse or Byron Young, like in his first year, like what if he's a phenom? It's going to be really hard to defend that pick and say like you guys knew exactly what you were doing when you said, "Hey, this is our guy," and then I got to watch these other players be all pros right away. So that's where it's going to get really tricky. On paper, right now, it's really easy to defend your case on love Ty Simpson pick, hate Ty Simpson pick. Time is going to be the judge of that. But as somebody personally who does appreciate the pick and enjoy it, I don't buy into the McVay wasn't on board with it.
Yeah.
It's just it is not consistent with everything I've seen out of the Rams the last few years, like since I've started reporting on them. And it fits. It makes sense. Like they're always trying to zig when people are zagging, and this is when you do it. Like when's the last time the Rams have had a pick this low? Like when was Jared Verse picked? When was anybody else picked? Like the last few seasons, like Roon and JT, you've had to watch your first round picks be what Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford, like and whoever else has come in. Like this is your first time seeing like a player outside of Jared Verse last few years, and you don't get to see him on the field right away. Um, but I understand the logic. It makes sense. It really does. Now, Ty Simpson, the player himself, like, and I know I'm getting a little long winded here, um, but Ty Simpson himself, it is a little bit of a project, like you said. One, because of size. I know he had that medical thing where he lost a bunch of weight. I see his game very similar to Brock Purdy, anyways. I'm not worried about him being not Fernando Mendoza, like 6'4", 240, whatever it is. His game is very similar to Purdy, very intelligent, can operate really well out of play action. He does all these little things really well. And when you mentioned what clicked in my brain when you said he's got some things that Matthew Stafford does, I think the area that they love of what he does is that he does understand protections. And McVay's system is very protection. Like the quarterback needs to know everything. I'll point to one player that I might catch some flack on for this. Joe Burrow. We know he gets sacked a lot. I don't think it's just a talent issue with the line in Cincinnati. It's either a Zach Taylor issue or it's a Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor issue and understanding and making the right calls pre-snap. Matthew Stafford, though he can't run, he understands not just what the protection is, but understands the rules for each player. So if my right tackle, whether he's going to funnel the edge inside or outside, I know how much time do I have 2.2 seconds or 2.5 seconds to get rid of this ball. I think that's something that Simpson can do, and that's why he's so good navigating the pocket. By all accounts, it matches up with the film, and so I think that's what they're really banking on of developing the quickest. And I agree with you. I don't think this is a 2 or 3 year out thing. I think this is legitimately he's going to compete with Stetson Bennett, and may the best man win. I don't know if that means they both play preseason, but we'll see.
I wanna ask you something about what you just said. You think there'll be a competition with Stetson Bennett at all? You think Stetson Bennett is I know he's not like a starting caliber quarterback, or at least he hasn't been so far in his career. What do you mean by like may the best man win?
There's room for 3 quarterbacks on the roster. After the rule change a few years ago because of that San Francisco and Philly championship game,
Oh yeah.
or was it divisional game,
Yeah,
whatever it was.
NFC Championship.
Um,
Two
it was an
favorite
NFC
teams.
championship. Yeah. So you get that emergency quarterback. So it's not like one of them's gonna get cut. I don't see a situation where you're gonna trade someone because then it's like then what are you gonna bring in Terod Taylor to be your emergency QB? It just doesn't make sense. I do think it's a win-win for I wouldn't say almost everyone involved. You let them compete it out, like you said, Bennett has not been as high as like the easiest thing to prove how good he is or maybe or isn't is ask any fan and you'll get a 50-50 answer. Either they love him and they believe in him, or they're like, no, he's like a QB3. It's we don't know is the problem. We've only seen him in some preseason games, but we haven't seen him in live fire. Jimmy G played that Week 18 game 2 years ago, and so now you're going to introduce somebody that has all the hype, has all the the potential accolades that comes with a first rounder, pin up against Stetson Bennett. Now it's a legitimate competition.
Right.
Bennett, you've been here for 3 or 4 years. You should easily beat the hell out of Ty Simpson, and Ty Simpson should like not even be talked about this year. In his case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ty Simpson, what if he comes in and he's just that fucking good? And now he's your QB2 for the rest of the year. And then you kind of get your answer on Stetson Bennett. So I do think there's a real competition. I think he's smart enough to come in and do some really good things. We'll see what happens by week 1, though. I really don't know until I see them in training camp.
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
and the thing with rosters is there's always competitions going on. Everyone's competing with somebody. Puka Nakua is competing to still be the number one wide receiver on this team. Like
Hmm.
that's how things are. It's always a competition. Nothing is set in stone because if there's a production decrease, then you're out of your spot. I mean,
Yeah.
what if Devontae Adams just falls off a cliff this offseason? Next thing you know, you got Jordan Whittington or C.J. Daniels as your wide receiver too, and everybody's like, "Well, what happened to Devontae?" It's the point I'm trying to make is that even if Ty Simpson does lose a backup QB battle to Stetson Bennett, there's not really much I would hate about that because, like Tuna said, Stetson Bennett's been here for 3 years. All right, he knows the system. At least I would hope he knows the system. And then you got Ty Simpson, who is fresh out of Alabama. A lot trying to just to bring something up here. I think another reason why people don't like this pick is because Ty Simpson was a 1 year starter at
Yeah.
Alabama. He sat behind Jalen Milroe, and people were like, "Oh, well, Jalen Milroe's a backup quarterback, and he sat behind Jalen Milroe. That means that he's worse than a backup quarterback." I'm like, "Well, shut up! Like, that just doesn't make any sense." Like, I hate people.
Also,
It's
did you watch Jalen Milroe running at Tuscaloosa? Have
no,
you
I
seen how
did,
fast he
I
is?
did. Jalen Milroe was
Like,
one of my favorite players in last year's draft.
oh yeah, yeah. He's a Jalen Milroe's a freak, man. That part doesn't make sense to me either. The 1 year starter thing. I get it. If that is a hang up on Simpson, I would hope that an organization that takes a chance on him has done a lot of research since like last offseason and has like tasked their scouts to research every bit and take this seriously from top to bottom. And oh, I wonder if the Rams did that. I don't know. There's some reports that they've been studying him since summer last year. So yeah, I mean, 15 games is a decent sample size of where you are right now, what your strengths and weaknesses are. And there's a very few teams that can take a chance on a guy like that and have it potentially work out. And if you're gonna get some flack from some other teams, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna listen to Cardinals fans or Falcons fans laughing about how the Rams spent their pick from last year when their current first round pick is you know, having some legal problems that they should worry
Yeah,
about instead. So I'm not really gonna listen to that.
yeah. I think we all have discussed this Ty Simpson pick. We all like it. We all like it, and we're ready to see him potentially be the next franchise
As
quarterback of the Los
as
Angeles Rams. But now getting into the Rams, it was a third rounder, right? Was it a second rounder or a third rounder? I'm pretty sure we don't have a second rounder because of the McDuffie trade.
second, it was Max Clare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was. I didn't know if it was a second or a third. I knew it was like
Yeah,
but Max Clare. This was another one that a lot of people I saw disagreeing with, and mainly because it's another tight end added to a very crowded tight end room. And I like this pick too. I like all the picks. There's not a single pick in this draft class that I disagree with. I think Max Clare's a freak. He's a great athlete. He was putting on not only at Purdue, but especially when he transferred to Ohio State. He's athletic as hell, man. I think say you don't, you could honestly justify keeping five tight ends on this roster for the sheer amount of 13 personnel you run, in my opinion. Say you don't choose to keep five and you cut one tight end, I think everybody is just going to automatically assume it's Davis Allen because it probably will be Davis Allen. Say that happens. But I think they could keep five tight ends on this roster. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I mean, you certainly could justify it. And some people that wanted Kenyon Sadiq hated the Max Clare pick. Were like, why didn't you like the Max Clare pick? Well, because it's another tight end. I'm like, well, Kenyon Sadiq's just another tight end. Like you're gonna have the same
Yeah.
problem there. But how do you guys feel about that?
I feel like five tight ends is obviously a lot, but I like your point where you said if we were to draft Kenny Sadiq, we'd have five tight ends anyways. I'm very curious to hear what you think about this, Tuna, because do you cut one? Do you trade one? Or do you actually keep five? And if you don't keep five, who gets left off the roster? Is it Davis Allen? Do we see some shocking trade where any other tight end on the team they get rid of? Which I I don't see them getting rid of Ferguson, Higby, or Parkinson. I don't see a world where that happens. But
Mhm.
Tuna, do you think there's any way there's a different tight end not named Davis Allen that gets left off this roster, or do you think all five of them just make it?
I think they all make it. I don't. I think depending on the matchup, just from a like an active roster
Mhm.
perspective, it's going to take some gray area playing because you can only be inactive and then activated again like I think three times in the season.
Okay.
Um, unless there's an injury. There's some gaming they can do with that there. And the reason I say that is because it depends on the matchup. Like week six, Jacksonville, or was it week eight? Week six or week eight, Jacksonville last year, when they first rolled out 13 personnel. That's a situation where
Mhm.
you might think like, okay, no Puka, you come in with five wide receivers and six tight ends because then you rolled out 13 personnel at like 60% clip or whatever high amount it was for that week. And then there's some weeks where you're like, oh, maybe we do attack with wide receivers a little bit more. So then you have six wide receivers and five tight ends or four tight ends. I think it's a week by week caseload, but just overall, like general, I mean, the pick was kind of telegraphed from the offseason earlier. The Nate Shieldhouse promotion, him and Scooter Huff, the tight end coach, from the reports that I was told, those two were really the main proponents for pushing 13 personnel to like really evolve for the Rams. And so with Nate being promoted, like if that's his baby, naturally, yeah, you're going to see a lot more 13 personnel. And so they value tight end a lot higher for what he can do in an instance where like even if he is just Claire is just a depth piece for the first 2 months, first 8 games, 12, whatever it is. Let's say he plays even less than Terrence Ferguson. Okay, you use a second rounder on an insurance piece in case your personnel you use at 60% of the season. If Davis Allen does go down, if Terrence Ferguson goes down, without someone like a Max Clare, like what are you counting on? Are you hoping Tyler Higbee finds a fountain of youth and is in year two again and he doesn't get hurt? Like you're one more pulled hamstring away from just not being able to field 13 personnel. And I think they might be banking their entire season success on that. So Max Clare being added in there, I wouldn't be surprised if someone even got hurt, like you see, was it Mark Redding? I forgot his name, like Mark Redding coming in off the practice squad, activated for a week.
Mhm.
I think consistently they want one of their base personnels to be tight end. So I would not be surprised if you go into a week with six tight ends, depending on the matchup and
Wow.
the time of the season.
Wow.
I
Okay.
was I was thinking five, but six. You know what? Seven. Why not? Let's.
No, I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to say things,
No, you're not. You're not. You make sense.
exaggerate them, but if what if they're running 13 personnel 60% of the time? Like at that point, it's the same degree as like you need backup receivers. Like wide receiver six is not usually getting a lot of play,
Yeah.
but you still field 11 personnel all the time. So I mean, to the same degree they might do it this year, where you need tight end six just to be on ice in case someone gets hurt. Um, I don't think that's insane. It may look insane, and it'll be weird when you get that week one roster report and you're like, okay, Kanate Mumfield is not active, but can Max Redding is like what the hell or whatever his name like So yeah, just don't be surprised by that. We'll see what shakes out in training camp though.
Yeah, kind of just to point out something you said, Tuna. I think we should have one game where the whole entire game we just sit in goal line and just throw to all of our tight ends and just farm, and then at the end of the game, just deep bomb to Puka to get him his 80 yards, whatever. Um, I would justify having five tight ends on this roster. I don't think the Max Clare pick is bad at all. I think we all
Hmm.
said our thing. Yeah, because if one guy goes down, there really isn't much insurance after that. So I think having Max Clare, even if he misses a couple games due to just being a healthy scratch, it doesn't really matter because it's a depth piece. And kind of just to bring up what I've said, that's the great thing about this draft is that none of these picks, you didn't have to pick for a glaring need. You fixed your glaring need this offseason when you traded for a former All-Pro and then signed his good
Yep.
buddy. Like that's perfect. It's perfect, and that's what you want to do as a front office. You want to address your needs before the draft. You're not going to want to rely on guys coming straight out of college to fix all your problems. But
Yeah,
kind
and
of
I'll
just
and I'll
moving
say that,
on.
and I'll say one more thing before we move on. To give fans some more hope too in being excited for like a goal line package. It doesn't sound that exciting, and I think that's why some fans are like okay, another tight end, like a guy I have no idea who he is. That's what it comes down to. People don't know tight end names, and then on top of that, remember what they did both Week 16 and an NFC Championship game. There was a point where we were watching. It was Week 16. That first half, essentially the entire first half, Matthew Stafford torched them and just like I'd watch them go down the field and goal line. And that's the Seattle Seahawks defense everyone's talking about, like, oh, Nick Emanwari is a rookie and they got him. It's like, okay, why would McVay go away from that? Like, let's just do more of that. If the counter is more tight ends, cool. I'm going to get another freakish receiving tight end and just beat the hell out of teams. So the proof is there. You just got to kind of find the specific tape on it and pay attention to it a little bit.
Yeah. So two picks, thumbs up from all of us on both picks.
I like.
Uh,
I like.
yeah, and then next up we have the round three pick. This was the last pick of day two, and this was probably, I guess you can call it the most boring pick because it's not a skill position, but offensive tackle Keegan Trost. I like this one as well. It wasn't
Mm.
exciting, obviously, but it's something that immediately you look at and know it makes sense because Alaric Jackson, for those of you who don't know, has a blood clot history. So, and he was dealing with that in the offseason last year. So, what happens if he just gets blood clots and, hey, Alaric's not going to be ready to start the season? Who's your crutch after Alaric? DJ Humphries? No, thank you. I think I'd rather. I I don't know what. There's a lot of things I'd rather do than see DJ Humphries step on the field as a Ram again. But no, Keegan Trost, his size, his versatility, it's a good pick. I'm curious, of course, to see what you guys think.
I don't think you could ever go wrong with having offensive line depth, even if he's not in there every single rep. I don't think that it's a problem you could ever possibly have. And to be completely honest, after the 2022-23 season, when we set the record for most offensive line combinations in a single season in NFL history, I am scarred by that, and I don't want to ever see any problems with the offensive line ever again because I think that's part of the reason Stafford got hurt that year is because the offensive line was hurt, and then you had 100 different quarterbacks going in because there was no O line, and I don't think that drafting another offensive lineman is ever going to be a problem, especially when Havenstein just retired. I know we have our replacements for him. I'm not saying that we're at a loss by any means. Not that we're not at a loss. We all love Rob Havenstein, but I think the offensive line will be fine, and I think drafting Trost is just another good addition to this great offensive line. Who, by the way, very underrated offensive line in the NFL that I feel like nobody talks about. Not to take any credit away from the MVP Matthew Stafford, of course, but I think a big part of his success is because his offensive line is also so good. and I think it kind of just gets the offense just together. You have these great receivers, you have a great quarterback, you have great running backs with Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, and then you have the offensive line that just puts it all together. So I don't think anybody should have a problem with drafting another offensive lineman because look at Kevin Dotson. He got hurt last year, and look how this offense was without Kevin Dotson. You
Yep.
know, and we also, I believe it was Trost who they said can play pretty much any of the five offensive line positions. So if somebody goes down, he's next guy up, and he might even be a starter. Who the heck knows? So I like the pick. Tuna, I'll let you say your piece now, but that's what I think about the Trost pick. Can never have too much offensive line depth on the team.
It's a easy win-win for both Trost and the Rams. You get your depth piece, and Trost, his only knock that I think people were really low on him for was I guess size. Like he's not the biggest like NFL tackle pillar type size, but because of that, it does allow him that versatility, like you talked about. I think most teams wanted to fit him at guard. At least that's what a lot of scouting reports said. But I don't really care, and the Rams don't care either. And that's their mold. Like they don't care about size, they don't care about arm length, they don't care about your 40 time. Can you show up and play really damn good football and help us win games? And Trost is that like highest rated SEC lineman or tackle. I think for last year he was all SEC as well. I mean, what more do you want? I know that typically they do like their Big Ten guys, but if a guy is killing in the SEC on a team like Missouri, I mean that's not a nothing school. Like that's like they're all playing NFL caliber guys. So his tape is out there. It's very good, and I do like the flexibility it gives them. You brought up a really good point with Dotson. Something like as good as the O line was and as great as the offense was, like a historically great offense, MVP quarterback season. Despite all that, every team has holes. The one area they really struggled in, they were, I think, bottom four in the league when it came to converting on third and fourth down with 2 or less yards inside the tackles. They converted terribly. Think to all the shitty moments you remember last year. The loss to the 49ers in week 5. How did that end?
Yeah,
A lot of moments in both the week 16 and the NFC Championship game. Why didn't they run out the clock in week 16? They tried to. You go back to halftime of that game, they weren't running the ball. Their average yardage went down from like 4 point something per rush to like under 2 yards per rush starting at halftime. And so when you got like an 18-point lead and you can't run the ball, you're just giving, the eventual Super Bowl champs a bunch of attempts. And so that's an easy way to lose momentum. And so you're exactly right. Like I don't think people are stressing how important it is to keep Kevin Dotson as like the engine of this offensive line.
yeah,
And I'll be curious to see again, reverting to training camp, where he's naturally placed at, because that's cool. You can do all five. You're gonna end up more natural at one. It's just kind of how it goes. Same with receivers. Some guys are more natural on certain spots of the field. If it happens to be something like left guard or center, I'll be very curious to see how that shakes up because Avila is on a contract year.
yeah.
And then they gotta figure out what you're gonna do after Shelton. So it's interesting. It's not just a right tackle conversation. I know that's what he played in Missouri, but he's a fun piece, and I think it's great the Rams have him. It gives them some flexibility. I like him a lot. He's somebody that I'm hoping I can interview at camp because I want to get to know him a lot more. We all love our lineman here, and I want to see him get his flowers his rookie season.
Yeah, as I introduced him, I said I liked his size, and it wasn't kind of just going back to what you said. It's not his like what I like about his size is that it makes him versatile, and that's kind of the point you
Hmm.
brought up. I didn't really bring that up. Don't know why I didn't bring that up, but you
Yeah,
brought it
man,
up
do
for
better.
me.
What the hell?
But yeah, I know, my bad. But no, he's gonna be that versatile guy because he can play anywhere, and
Hmm.
yeah, you guys pretty much brought it up. I don't need to just re-explain what you guys said. Let's move on to a very underrated pick in this entire draft. A lot of people have said this could end up being the steal of the draft, the Puka Nakua esque draft pick, if you will. But it's CJ Daniels out of Miami.
Hmm.
I'm a Florida State football fan, so I guess I welcome Florida football schools in with open arms. But he's a good player. Just bottom line, he's a freak. Oh he's so nice. I can't. I'm gushing over here.
What is it?
I
What is it
think
about his game that's like got you
I
so
think
excited?
for one, it's his speed. You always get excited seeing those speedy guys like an Xavier Worthy, kind of stuff like that. His separation as well. I like his separation. I think it's enough. His hands too. Uh, there's this
Mm,
catch I will never get out of my mind, and it's him against Notre Dame, just
yep.
making one of the. He just sucks in the ball with one hand and for the touchdown too, like that. Like
Hmm.
kid's just nice. Don't like that he was trolling Florida State mid game. And we forgive, but we don't forget too. So um, I'm hoping he will be as good as I think he will be. I think he can end up being the wide receiver three, but at the same time, he's also going to have to compete with both Kanate and Jordan Whittington, and CJ could end up being a special teamer. Honestly end up being your returner. Um, I think if you had to ask any fan of the Rams right now, who would you rather have at punt returner? Would you rather have Xavier Smith or CJ Daniels? I think Xavier Smith left a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
I didn't give up on Xavier Smith, I will say. I know you are also an Xavier Smith believer, Tuna.
Hmm.
Uh, but there is going to be some competition going in near the bottom end of that wide receiver room. So that's something I'm really excited to see. But what do you guys think about that pick?
I wouldn't be surprised if CJ Daniels is wide receiver three going into week one, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we see it be somebody else like Jordan Whittington. Because a point that I've been waiting to make, week 5, 2024, Rams Packers. Rams lose that game, but Cooper Kupp was out and Puka Nacua was out. Who stepped up and was wide receiver one? It was Jordan Whittington. And he had a pretty
Hmm.
darn good game. And that's the only chance we've really gotten to see him be that guy. Like, you go into a week and it's, okay, you're the guy who we're going to try to get the ball to the most. And they did. And he had a good game. He didn't, did he look like Jerry Rice out there? Maybe not, but he was pretty darn good. And I'm going to be honest, I don't mind the idea of having Whittington be our number 3 wide receiver for the whole season. I don't mind it at all. And that's no hate to Xavier Smith. That's no hate to CJ Daniels. I really like Jordan Whittington as wide receiver 3, but I also want to see CJ Daniels get that chance. I think those two are going to be the guys you see compete for that number 3 spot. Tuna, I'll let you give your thoughts, but I think those two guys are going to be, wide receiver 3, maybe almost kind of like sharing that wide receiver 3 role. I can't see either of them just being wide receiver 4 or 5. What do you think?
Dang. That's actually a really good anecdote you brought up. It's actually so I was at that game
Hmm.
and it sucked
Yeah.
because there's a lot of Packers fans. Packers are one of the teams that will overwhelm you at SoFi. Like
Hmm.
they travel, but some of the nicest people I ever met. Met a lot of people from Wisconsin, and actually was the first time I met my co-host Sheriff Joe Baggs in person. We collabed a bunch online, but he made the trek down from Denver. Just because, or Colorado, just because his buddy is a Packers fan, and so they showed up. Got to have some tailgate beers with him,
Nice.
and so I agree. I don't think I'd be surprised. Like if CJ Daniels won wide receiver 3 and they listed him at the depth chart, it doesn't, it almost sucks because it like kind of doesn't matter who wide receiver 3 is on a depth chart. They're just going to rotate in whoever they need on a weekly basis, like based on, again, the fit and the scheme needed for that week.
Right.
But I will say if CJ Daniels does leapfrog them and he's wide receiver 3, even early in the season, I think you need to buy into the hype and just stash him on fantasy boards or in fantasy leagues and believe in him as a player, like as a fan, because Ra- Rams have the best wide receiver coach in the NFL.
Hmm.
And look at what they've done with non first or second round talent, Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua. They get the most out of guys. Guys like Jordan Wood, like Ben Skoranek was catching passes in the Super Bowl. And where has he been since then? I know he didn't really do anything in 2022 with the Rams, but where is he now? He's just He was a special teamer. Were you going to say something? Let me cut
I,
you off.
I was. You said he was catching passes in the Super Bowl. I would say they were throwing the ball to him. I don't know if I'd say he was
Yeah.
catching passes in the Super Bowl, but no hate to
Oh,
Vince Skoranek, but
hey.
that uh that one pick from Stafford was not Stafford's fault. I'll leave it at
Oh,
that.
he is. That play is like one where, like, man, you're lucky we won.
Oh yeah, oh
Because
yeah.
people would be right now. People love Ben Sco. It would not be that way.
He would
Yeah,
have the same reputation Xavier Smith has right now if we didn't win that Super Bowl, but
I'd
worse.
say
and it's tough.
he would probably have a
Yeah,
worse reputation considering
Yeah.
it's the Super Bowl.
it's
Mhm.
Super
But
Bowl. Yeah,
he was just a Pro Bowler, man. I I love Benny
special
Mm.
Sco.
teamer, special teamer. But yeah, if Daniels can show up and do something, that means a lot of people probably pat missed on him, and the Rams will solidify themselves as like, yeah, you're legitimately wide receiver whisperers. Whatever Eric Yarber wants, the wide receivers coach, just
Mm.
fucking get him whatever player he wants, and he'll make it happen. And Robert Woods is there coaching. Like,
Bobby Trees. I
I
love it.
forgot
if
about that. I
I'm
forgot about
just
that. I'm gonna be so
I'm just
honest. That
saying,
just made me feel so
if
much
that
better.
happens, believe the hype. That's all I'll say. But um, no, it's an open competition, and if we are putting value behind who is wide receiver three and wide receiver four, it's kind of a fresh start for all of them. Um, I want to believe that Xavier Smith has a really fair shot at some significant roles in the offense. They didn't even snip, like maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but they didn't even rumor attempt to re-sign Tutu Atwell.
No.
Xavier Smith played a lot more snaps than he did when Tutu Atwell was a healthy scratch. I am on record saying I think Xavier Smith is actually has a faster 40 time than Tutu Atwell. I think that's true. He's shifty and he's thicker, like he's stronger.
Mhm.
Like and since his rookie season, since I paid attention a lot to him, you just go back to his rookie mini camp to what he looks like today in at OTAs. He's put on like 10, 15 pounds of muscle. And so there's something there that they really like in him. He may be their deep threat. Like maybe they're a believer in him as well. But Jordan Whittington kind of has all of it that you want. He's going to be one of the veteran guys. Like he does all the dirty shit. Like he'll motion and he's athletic enough to take a jet sweep and get some yards. He'll motion and then run a route through the C gap. He'll go through the C gap and attack a linebacker. I love the dude. I just don't know. And maybe I need to go back or rewatch that Packers game. I think I was too heated from just the loss itself that I didn't focus on his individual performance. But where was it? Why aren't they using him more in certain packages? You know what I mean? So like, we'll see what happens this year, what shakes out. Man, I don't know. I don't want to just say CJ Daniels is going to leapfrog right away because it is exciting to think about, like new
Right?
player, new
It's hard to think
possibilities.
about.
But I almost want to I almost want to be zig when everybody's zagging like the Rams and say like, I don't know, man, don't sleep on X. Like I know that
Mm.
special teams play hurt. I hear you. I know it was painful, but the dude has improved a shit ton since he got here, and that's all because of the Rams. So maybe there's something there. We'll see. They re-signed him for this year, so they do believe in him.
I remember his return against the Niners 2 years ago. I try to
Yeah,
remember that more than I remember the drop against the Seahawks because you got to keep in mind the Rams starters had not beaten the Niners in the regular season in forever leading up to that point.
yeah,
We could
fair
not
enough.
beat that team. As much as I never like to give San Francisco any credit, we couldn't beat them in the regular season no matter what. And
Yeah,
that return that he had to basically get us into field goal range and set up Joshua Carty's game winning kick, which is just a crazy statement to make now in 2026. But that was huge, and that was our first impression of him. So I like Xavier Smith. I'm not one of the guys that was wanted the guy out of the league after one muffed punt, one and
yeah.
a
There's
half,
some
I guess,
fans.
because yeah,
Yeah,
like I I don't understand it because the people that are saying Xavier Smith like has to go are I think it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, is it a big moment? Yeah, but was everyone else on the team perfect that game? Are we guaranteed to win that game without that? No. We were losing that whole game. And yeah, did that change things? Sure. Is it a different game? Probably, but that doesn't guarantee a win. And it doesn't guarantee we win 2 weeks later in the Super Bowl. Do I think we win? Yeah, I do. But it doesn't guarantee that. So I don't.
Xavier Smith wasn't playing defense either. I don't remember that. So I don't. You're
Hmm.
gonna blame him for that stuff. And I gotta cut you off because to mention special teams as well because Roon mentioned that CJ Daniels might return kicks. I think you also got to believe in the hype because this will now be technically special teams coordinator three. I'm not really going to count, the interim guy at the end of the season,
Right.
but this will be technically the second special teams coach. So if there's any returning starters that keep their spot, like Xavier Smith wins the returner job, you kind of got to have a little bit even more faith in him than you have right now because now that's Bubba Ventrone signing off saying, nope, this is my guy, and that's an outsider that has no affiliation with Xavier Smith, owes him nothing. Um, so whoever they end up putting back there, I think you can expect better returns because let's be real, all see like when's the last time we've had a punt return for a touchdown or kick return? And like when the Rams are on special teams, I kind of just go to the bathroom. Like
I could be wrong about this, but I believe it was against Minnesota in week 17 in the year we won the Super Bowl is the last one I remember. What the heck was that guy's name? Oh my gosh.
It was Powell.
What the heck? Yes, Brandon Powell. Thank you. It was against Minnesota. I don't know if that's the last one. You guys would have to fact check me on that, but that's the last one I remember us returning for a touchdown, which is a pretty long time ago. That's like
that's my
5 years
point.
ago.
That's my point.
So
Yeah.
if they have returned one since then, it has to be like one time since then, which one in the last 5 years, not that great. So I
Yeah,
get your point.
it's no, that's my point. And I don't think like I'm sorry. I've seen Xavier Smith run on the offense. I've seen how he runs with the ball. I've seen Jordan Whittington how he runs with the ball. I've seen Blake Corum run out of the backfield. Between the kick return setups the last few years and the punt return as well, it just like I think there's something wrong with the system they were running because it just felt like returners were running into guys. Like there was no real lane integrity at all. And I think that changes greatly. And it may be a huge if they win the Super Bowl, it'll be one of the contributing factors more than even just 13 personnel in the offense.
Right.
So yeah, just wanted to add that. I know I cut you off. I have
No.
ADHD, so sometimes if I don't yell it out, like I'm gonna forget the shit in like 30 seconds. So I
Yeah,
had to
fair
go.
enough.
I'm sorry.
Fair
I'm
enough.
sorry.
No, I also have a hot take about Xavier Smith and another guy you mentioned, Tutu Atwell. I
Yep.
would rather have Xavier Smith than Tutu Atwell. I know that might be a steaming hot take for a lot of people. Maybe some Dolphins fans watching this and think that Tutu Atwell is, their next guy up. I don't know. But I kind of hold a grudge against Tutu because he took $10 million, and I feel like that could have gone to my favorite Ram of all time, Cooper Cup. Just saying.
He
I
didn't
feel
just
like
That's
take it. I
fair.
would say he stole it. That's what
yeah,
I would say.
that's another way
I
to put
heard
it.
I heard he took Cooper Cup's underwear and pulled it up over his head and gave him a wedgie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
I
said, "That's
I
my
don't.
money." I heard that. I heard that.
I didn't
See,
really
that's
think
why I
about
hold a
that
grudge
until he
against
brought it
him.
up, and then that kind of pissed me off.
Cooper Cup is my guy, so like I don't like the whole signing Tutu Atwell for $10 million. And no offense to Tutu, I'm not saying I dislike him because I don't. He was a Ram, but why? What did he necessarily do to prove that he earned that amount of money, that contract? And
Yeah,
I don't understand it. But
Yeah.
uh, I'll
it's
let you
rough.
guys share your thoughts. I would rather have Xavier Smith than Tutu Atwell. That's my hot take. I don't know how hot of a take that is. I feel like some people would agree. Some people would think I'm insane for saying that, but that's my take.
I think most fans, the way some very volatile fans feel, I think it'd be you'd be asking them to choose between do you want to get sick with the cold or sick with the flu? I think that's what a lot of fans would probably say. I'm hoping
Mm.
that changes, and I hope I'm very biased as a Xavier Smith believer. He was the first player that ever came onto my podcast his rookie season, and
Mm.
so like getting to work with him and talk to him a little bit, I've paid more attention to his career,
Yeah.
and it's I'm hoping he gets a lot of success because he is a story that I think Rams fans would fall in love with if he had more success this year. You play at HBCU and it's like next to 0% like probability to even make an NFL roster coming out of HBCU, let alone multiple years, let alone a starter with now his third contract on the Rams on a competitive wide receiver Like we were speaking so highly of the wide receiver room, right? This motherfucker's made the roster for 4 years now. Like it's pretty impressive for an HBCU guy. So I'm hoping more people come around like you and start liking him.
Yeah,
I like it.
absolutely.
We just have one more draft pick to go over, and that
Ooh,
is double
biggest.
dipping into Alabama and triple dipping into the SEC. We go and get Alabama defensive lineman Tim Keenan. Now, I honestly did not know what they were going to do with that last pick. I thought they could have gone corner. I thought they could have gone defensive lineman like they did with Tim Keenan. I thought if they really wanted to, they could have gone like kicker and had him compete with Mevis. But I'm,
Another
I'm,
quarterback.
I'm probably, I'm probably the biggest, I'm probably the biggest Harrison Mevis fan in the world. Or we could have drafted another quarterback. See, we didn't really need to go a specific route with that pick, and you go Tim Keenan. It's another depth pick, and it's another just a luxury pick. They obviously like him enough. I think he really could compete with guys like Murchison and another man whose name is completely blanking me. He was Mr. Irrelevant, Desjuan Johnson. I think
Deshaun
he will
Johnson. Yeah.
compete with Desjuan Johnson and Laurel Murchison. If he could beat him out of a spot. And what if say kind of just to bring up something that happened last year, the Rams traded up to get Chris Paul Jr. and now most of us Rams fans have literally forgotten that name because he didn't play a single snap as a Ram because he got cut after training camp.
Yeah.
Say Tim Keenan doesn't win the battle and gets cut. What do you waste? The seventh rounder? It's fine. It's if say you waste a seventh round pick, that doesn't really make me mad at all. It wouldn't make me anywhere near as mad as when it came across my screen that the Rams cut Chris Paul Jr. That's probably like a top five most mad day as a Rams fan I've ever been.
Super confusing. Yeah.
That it confused me, but when you kind of look at the special teams unit this year, you kind of understand it more. Uh, if he couldn't provide on special teams, uh, and the special teams was that bad last year, then I guess it was worth keeping Troy Reader over him, right? Right?
I'm gonna say the
Well,
same thing I said for the offensive line, which I don't think you could go wrong with having too many guys on the defensive line either, just with the depth purposes. I mean, Puna Ford, for an example, you could there's some people that would argue, oh, he's not, one of the top playmakers on the defensive line at all. He makes a huge impact on that defensive line. I think Keenan could do the same thing. I think Johnson could do the same thing. I would like to see more out of Braden Fisk. I think there's a lot of names you could throw out there and say these guys have the potential to be a huge aspect of this defensive line. I think Keenan could be one of those guys. And like you said, Roon, we could see him be the next Chris Paul Jr. and he never plays a snap in horns. Who the heck knows? But like you also said, it's a seventh round pick. I don't think anyone is gonna complain about any seventh round pick. I like it. I think it's a good pick, and we that also goes back all the way to the first round when we were saying there's only so many positions you really need, so just add depth to the positions that you already
Mm.
have. I like the pick.
It's low key like my favorite pick of the
Really?
draft.
your
Yeah,
favorite.
there's something about these big nasties, bro. Like when a dude is just like, I know what your job is, and it's just to be a big ass dude. Like Tim Keenan is the Puna Ford like heir apparent in my books. Like I don't care if he was undrafted. Like his size and his role is gonna. I think it'll be very minimal. I do believe he'll get a chance to compete and show some stuff. It's just I think his range of flexibility and his speed is gonna be the biggest component on whether he's gonna like make the special teams or beat out Tyler Davis or back like whoever is he the nose or a three tech whatever it ends up being because his superpower, and I love bringing that up because every rookie is going to have a chance to show their superpower that like is their argument for making the roster. Even CJ Daniels, right? His superpower is where's the gap? That gap is gone. That's what Puna Ford does. Puna Ford is just, okay, I'm in this gap, it's eliminated. Like you're not moving Puna Ford. It's just good luck. Like we've watched enough double teams where running backs have had to go around to the two gaps over because he's just too big and too strong
He's
of
such
an
a good
anchor.
run stopper.
And that's I think what Team Keenan's role is gonna be is learn from Puna because I think it was the Carolina game where Puna he was active but he only played like 18 snaps, like 20, 28, like something like that. It was very limited and we couldn't stop the run. They consistently were churning out short yardage to keep control of the clock. Like, that was a nightmare game that the Rams ended up dropping in the regular season.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was because Carolina's rushing attack like they didn't have a big 90-yard run like Atlanta did, but they were just consistently like the Rams didn't have an answer. And that's because Puna Ford was not healthy. And so, like Roon said, like what are you going to spend your seventh round pick on? Like unless you're lucky and some teams get a franchise quarterback with the last pick of the draft, but usually it's a depth piece for something important. And I'm kind of shocked Tim Keenan was a seventh rounder. Like I thought he'd be early day three just because of his potential superpower. And it's just gap eater, like just gap eliminator. There's no pun on size there. Like he just eats space, bro. It's yeah. So I'm high on the dude. I'm hoping he's just Puna Ford Jr. It's like he's big little bro.
I feel the same way about CJ Daniels, where I think that he was drafted too late. I think he should have been drafted a little sooner. And you could say the same thing about Tim Keenan. I know completely different positions, two different sides of the ball,
Fair.
but
Yeah.
I think both of them could have been drafted sooner. I really do. But Rune, I'll let you share your thoughts.
No, I completely agree with Tuna. It's a depth piece for sure, but his ability, if he's going to learn from Puna Ford and he ends up being just like the next Puna Ford, that will be huge. Considering how good of a player Puna Ford is, Puna Ford might literally, in my opinion, Puna Ford is the anchor of this defensive line. Kind of just bringing up that Carolina game, when you look at just how Carolina was able to chip away at the Rams' rushing defense the entire game. You get a guy like Tim Keenan in there who is honestly just insurance for a guy like Puna Ford and for like Braden Fisk. That's a good pick. And I think in his ability to learn from those two, I'm obviously probably higher on Braden Fisk than most people are. I saw a lot of people pretty negative on Braden Fisk, and I tried to do my best to defend him. I was like, because he was good at Florida State, and I'm just gonna put the record
Oh,
out.
that's why.
I'm gonna defend myself on why I'm a Florida State fan. The original reason I'm a Florida State fan is because of two players and two players only. I looked at who was my favorite player at the time, Jalen Ramsey. You also had Cam
That's
Akers,
fair.
who was. And speaking of Cam Akers, I got something to show you guys.
No
Oh, that's
way.
sick.
No
That's the
way.
only signed jersey I have, and it's
That's
a
really
signed
I
Cam
can't be
cool.
mad
Akers.
at I can't be mad
Yeah,
at that.
and it's
I have a
probably the
signed Cam
most.
Akers jersey, but it's like a fake bone jersey, and it's definitely not as cool as that one.
Yeah,
Definitely
no,
not.
this is probably the most niche thing I've ever seen. Until I get an actual like, I don't have a Rams side jersey, so until I get that, anybody coming in my room is gonna like just that's like the first thing you see when you walk in my room because my door is literally like exactly parallel to that wall that it's on.
Nice.
So they're gonna walk in the room and they're gonna be like, "Who the hell's on your wall?" I'm just gonna be like,
How's
"Well, that's
Cam
Cam Akers, of
Akers?
course. You don't know who Cam Akers is? Are you
That's Super
serious?"
Bowl champion Cam Akers to you.
No, exactly, and that's
That is.
he
I still
that's
I still remember that tweet. I don't know how old you were, Rune, but it was early. I don't know if it was his rookie
I
season
think
or
Oh,
if
I
I
he was
know
know
what
what
still
you're
at
you're about
Florida
to
talking
say.
State,
about.
I think I remember it.
where he talks about like, man, I want a girlfriend right now, and the dude
No,
was like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
bro, do your thing. I don't have one, and blah blah blah. He's like, respectfully, I ain't
No,
trying to be
yeah.
you.
In all respect, I'm not trying to be like you, man. Like
I'm not trying to be
Yeah,
like you.
that's one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen. No, but in all seriousness, he almost cost us a playoff victory against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I do think about that often. Oh no.
Twice,
let's
by the
not.
way, that game twice. This is the
You
fact.
can't end the conversation like Maggie's on my wall. I love the dude, but you
No,
did
no,
almost fuck up.
I love him though. He was a beast. He was a beast at FSU, man. And then, dude, the 2024 draft was probably the happiest I've ever been because I didn't really think the Rams were going to draft Jared Verse. I wanted them to get Laiatu Latu.
Ah,
He
mhm.
obviously goes to the Colts, and then Jared Verse is still there. And I literally remember I'm watching the draft with my dad, and my dad was pissed, and I wasn't. You want to know why my dad was pissed? Because my dad reps the evil red and gold. But no, I remember.
Who's red and gold? USC?
The 49ers.
No, not the
What?
49ers. Man.
Oh, the Niners. I was thinking you're talking
Yes,
about college still. I'm like,
I
what?
I hate talking about that. See,
Gotcha, gotcha.
you can hear it
My
in my
bad.
voice. Talking about the 49ers, it just makes me like a more negative person. The
Negative person.
I can feel the substation. It's hurting me. I can't talk about it. I'm not gonna be
Jesus
able to walk
Christ.
tomorrow. But no, I remember getting Jared Verse, and I was over the moon. And the next day, I'm at the gym. I have the draft playing, and then all of a sudden, I'm hitting curls, and the Rams have traded up, and I'm literally just, oh shit! I got what happened? What happened? The Rams like D tackle Braden Fisk out of Florida State. I'm literally just in the gym with my friend, and my mouth just drops. He's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "The Rams got another Florida State player." He's like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like,
Nice.
How much did you pay him?" I'm like,
Not enough.
That's how I felt with Blake Corum as a Michigan fan. That's how I
"Dude,
felt with
Blake,
Blake Corum.
oh,
I instantly bought that jersey, and now he switched his number and we switched our jerseys. So that's
he switched to
awesome.
24. I don't
More
know
money out of
about
my
that.
pocket for the Rams, but that's okay.
I don't know what jersey to get first, honestly. I it'll probably be a Stafford. Is just what
I,
I'm
I
thinking.
think we
Stafford or
gotta.
Puka.
I think we gotta wait to see what the new alternates are gonna be
I'm
because
getting a new. I'm getting all of the above. I'm getting all four, buddy. I'm getting
oh
blue,
yeah,
white, yellow,
there's
pink,
gonna be there's
green.
gonna
I
be
don't
five,
give a shit
right?
what color it is. I'm buying it.
There's gonna be five, I think, right? Because blue,
Well,
white,
I mean, there's
black,
the
and then there's two
rivalries,
more. Yeah,
but I already
so
have that
Yeah.
one.
five. Yeah.
But
So
kind of just talking on those uniforms. What do we think is going to be kind of just what they're going to roll out here? Because we were talking before the show. We don't really think they're going to go back to that Coliseum era look. Which, as much as I would love to see that, I just don't think it'll happen. I think they want to go even deeper into the roots of Los Angeles football. Um, Kind of just Deacon Jones, Merlin Olsen, first and foursome kind of era is what everybody thinks. But what do you guys think that they're going to be rolling out here in the summer?
I know that this is never going to happen, but I would absolutely love to see St. Louis colored uniforms, like the old Sammy B days. May I just
Yeah.
throw this out here, right here? Uh,
Phenomenal.
I would
Phenomenal pull.
I would I would love to see those colors on a uniform. I don't care if it's once a year. I would love to see it, but I know they're never going to do it because they for some reason like to hide the fact that they were ever from St. Louis and that they won a Super Bowl there and they had many good seasons there. I
Yeah.
hate that they try to erase that from their history. I think it would be awesome to have a navy and gold uniform that they wear just once a year. Once a year, I think that'd be really cool. I'm not a fan of a yellow jersey. I think we talked a little bit about that before we started recording.
Hmm.
I don't know why. It's just not. I'm just not a huge fan of that idea. Or we could do. I don't know if you're a big baseball guy, Tuna, but I would love to see.
Not really.
I would love to see just a white and blue uniform like the Dodgers to match the Dodgers. I think that would be awesome. I think it would be really cool. Tuna, what do you think?
Dodger blue, huh?
Mhm.
I think without going into all the I know Jersey Gate or whatever you want to call it, there's some folks out there that's their whole world is figuring out jerseys and leaks and stuff like that. Without going down that whole rabbit hole, I do
Oh,
think he doesn't like what I'm gonna say. I do think the only thing that makes sense is it has to be some like ode to the past, like the old LA days, like fearsome foursome type days. I
he's
do think so because which ones again? What's
he's got
this?
the whole collection
Uh
here.
what's the Florida State one though? Who's that one?
I think it was
Verse,
Verse, right? Yeah.
Verse? Nice. Nice.
then little Georgia
That is a
Stafford.
pull.
That's
You know
sick.
what? I would love to rock that at a game. I'm not gonna lie. That's a
Yeah.
great pull. Um, but no, I think that's the only thing that makes sense because you've got think of all the potential options that would make sense with the Rams. Like you already
Mhm.
got blue, you got your white for away. You got black, so like any sort of like modern weird twist is done. You're not gonna
Yeah.
do another dark one. I don't know if they do mustard like the Thursday night football like color rush because I know the Chargers have got their bolt yellow, but I think the OG yellows like that, and I think you might get your wish with the white one because
Yeah.
again, what else? What else is there? Like, unless there's something brand new where Roon was joking and like, oh hey, we got a green jersey now.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? The old Cleveland Rams days where it's
Oh,
it's
the
like
red,
burgundy and burgundy and
the
yellow.
red
I
and
think
yellow. Oh, that'd be crazy. I would
that's
not
a
like that, but
that's a tough sell for Rams fans that hate the Niners. That'd be tough to pull off. But
yeah,
like the only thing that makes sense to me is unless there's something brand new that we can't even conceptualize. One of them has to be the OG one. So it could be the white, like you're talking about,
the
or
white
maybe
navy.
yellow. Yeah, the white navy, or maybe it's like the mustards again. So that's my hope. I love like I don't have a mustard yellow Donald anymore because I unfortunately first world problems. I lost like 30 pounds and it's like a parachute on me now, so I can't wear it anymore. But um, yeah, I do hope it's keeping the mustards back, man. It's so fun. It's so stupid, but I love it.
I was never. I know this is a hot take. I was never a fan of the mustard uniforms until that Thursday night, not Thursday, Monday night football game against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
And
same.
now that's all I remember them from is that. So I think
So
of that
good.
game and I think of Todd Gurley, and that's what I think of when I see those uniforms. So now I don't mind them, but I think if they go back to like a white and navy uniform, I would like to see them not use like the current template they have like this uniform. I don't want to see like this uniform with white and
Mm,
navy. I want to see them just go back to the white and navy classic horns on the helmets that they had in the 60s. Don't change a
yeah,
thing. I don't care if it even still has the gray face mask on it.
love that.
It works.
And we're back from some little bit of technical difficulties, but we're good. We're and I actually have a very I think you guys will get a kick out of this. I think it's pretty cool. Um, I don't think I've told either of you this, but I know an NFL referee. His name is Frank LeBlanc. He's a line judge. He was on the not the Frank Torbert crew. He was on the Ron Torbert crew. He's gonna be on the Vinovich crew this year. Um, but I have a one of one piece to show you guys. Now this
Yo,
is a authentic game worn signed Frank LeBlanc jersey, personally addressed to
that's
my
so
grandpa,
funny.
not me, not me.
That's so
He's
funny.
my grandpa used to officiate college football, and that's how they know each other. Um, me and my grandpa are the self-proclaimed Frank LeBlanc fan club, but this is it. This is what they wear in the game. This is game worn. This is all of it.
Whistle
Pretty
That's
cool.
included.
It's this is my
whistle
favorite.
included.
I'm
what's my
sorry. I'm sorry, bro, but there has to be a reality where you wear that to a game.
no. Maybe I might one day if it's like a game I don't care about. I remember 2 years ago I went to a Ram or not a Rams. I went to a 49ers Bears game because my parents got free tickets from Frank LeBlanc, and
Yeah,
I went and I was advised not to wear a Rams jersey, which I kind of agree. I didn't want
yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
people talking to me. I wore a Baker Mayfield Browns jersey because my brother's a Browns fan.
Nice.
But if I had that, I probably would have worn it honestly, and people would
That's
have been
sick.
asking me, "What the hell are you
That's
wearing?"
hilarious.
It
I'm just
is,
I
and
and then you go to the shot the you go to lids and you get an NFL just the NFL hat an NFL shield and you're like you know what I hope that both teams have fun. I
no,
just
he gave me a backpack he got me an NFL like backpack that has the NFL shield on it. That's what I use. That's what I bring to
that's
work.
awesome.
He
That's
got me a
awesome.
hat. I'll show you. I got a
That's
football,
hilarious. That's
like a little
such a
football
random.
signed by the entire crew.
That's sick.
I thought mine was. I have like Rampage signed stuff. That's like killer. That's
That's
sick.
don't you dare sell that. That's priceless.
Oh no no no! I give every once in a while I get some the gloves that Rampage wears where he's got like his face on the hands too. He'll sign those, and I try to give them away when I go to training camp and stuff. You just
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
find some kids
you
and
and
give them.
Rampage are best buddies, man.
You know what? It's funny. Rampage, I have no problem telling the story. When I was first moving to LA, I was like trying to get connected with people, this and that, and I just happened to come across who Rampage is and this and that, and we actually like a lot of the same things, and we end up becoming buddies. And so like outside of the football stuff, Rampage is genuinely actually a very good friend of mine. And
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
That
the
is
I
awesome.
out of all the connections you can have with the organization, it's probably one of the funnier ones and one of the more fun ones. But it has helped me get a huge appreciation for like the community work that Rampage does and the Rams team do. Like he did over 600 shows, like events last year alone,
Wow.
and like that dude puts in a lot of work. I think Rams fans, if they knew the extent of the work that that guy puts in, they would have an even larger appreciation for the person who puts on that Rampage costume every single week.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Great.
Definitely
Shout out
cool.
Rampage, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
But yeah, kind of just recapping what we went over. Just gave our thoughts on each draft pick. I don't think there's a single draft pick that we don't like, which is great. That's all you need, honestly. Uh,
hmm
of course, it's the draft. You don't need a draft for need. You draft for pretty much for depth. Um, other than Ty Simpson, he's going to be next guy up. But
gonna
and then
beat out Matthew. What you talking
uniforms,
about?
I think we're all hoping for some white and navy action. I would love that, especially if it's like block letters and they don't follow the template then that they follow right now. If it's not broken horns, if it's solid horns and block letters, I might buy one for like every player on the roster. Like I, it's bad. I have a problem. Someone save me. Send me to rehab, please. But that's that's all we have for today. We went over the draft. We went over some uniforms. I actually showed off a one of a kind authentic piece. You don't get that anywhere else, but here. But I'm gonna
Love it.
let these two gentlemen let you guys know where you can find them. Let's start off with JT.
Yeah, you guys can find me at JT Sports Network on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube as well. Uh, I post Rams, Dodgers, Lakers, pretty much anything LA out of the main teams there. I like to keep it Rams based just because they're one of my favorite teams, of course. So yeah, that's where you can find me. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, JT Sports Network.
Yeah, hit that follow button for our boy here, and then mine as well. Just everywhere, First and Tuna. Just like you write down, hey, it's 1st and 10. Instead, unfortunately, it's First and Tuna. You didn't get a first down. You got a stupid guy with a fish name instead. But that's if you do want to read Substack articles, check out our YouTube. We do a show 3 times a week or 2 times a week right now because it's off season. But yeah, we actually that was one thing I probably should have mentioned before. My joint brand with Sheriff Joe Bags because he's got Ram Showcase and he's been doing that forever. But our daily show is called Both Horns, and so we do that like 2 evenings a week. So that's a lot of fun. You guys should come on there too. Like I want to
That'd
have
be
you guys
awesome.
on there and just chat because boy,
Love it.
preseason is slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's awful. I really forgot how bad it was. But
hmm
yeah, definitely go check out JT stuff. First and Tuna as well. Go check out his stuff. Both Horns, great show. Sometimes I find myself waking up in the morning, 7 a.m. I got to get ready for school. I'm just like, hey, why not turn on Both Horns? Listen to what the lads have to say.
Can't
These are
settle for
both
one
great
horn, man. You need
gentlemen.
both.
Yeah, both great gentlemen. Great creators and great people as well. Tuna, very outspoken in the LA community, thinks he stands up for. Much respect for that. It's
Appreciate it,
great
man.
to see somebody go out and do that. But no, these guys, go give them each a follow on everything. I will be checking, and if their follower count doesn't go up by at least 100 each on every single platform, Oh, I'm raising hell.
He's throwing his phone already. Look
No, I hit my charger.
at him.
No, in all seriousness, these go follow them. They're great. They put out great content. Tuna is a guy who I is one of the guys I learned how to be a content creator from. So I always thank you for that. I am
Yeah, man.
curious, kind of just to end this episode, how did you get the nickname Tuna? How'd you come up with that?
Man, it seems like a lifetime ago. I was just talking about this with my best friends. Long time ago, when I left high school, I played Division II ball at Humboldt State when they still had ball. Um, like you've been in any football locker room, any sports locker room, you get nicknames. Like it's not always chosen. You're lucky if you get a good one. I had one previously that I'll leave as a dead name, but my last name is De Luna, and so I didn't know anybody on the team, and just one of my other quarterbacks, he was like, "Hey, what's up, the Tuna?" And then Tuna just stuck, and then it didn't help that The Office was getting very popular, and if you watch The Office, Jim, he has a nickname, Big Tuna, and then the last part that solidified it was funny. I kind of like fought it. I was like, "That's a stupid nickname. Like, the hell? Like, I don't want to be a Tuna." My younger sister, when she was going through basic training, her A school and everything, same situation happened to her. Her military buddies just started calling her Little Tuna because it rhymed with her last name. And out of solidarity with her, I was like, all right, it's an okay nickname. We'll roll with it. And so it's just stuck. And now my mom calls me Tuna from time to time. So it's not going anywhere. I'm stuck with it.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I wish I had. I don't have a nickname. That's one thing I don't like. I everybody. My last name's Rooney, so they'll just be like Colton Looney Tunes or some. That's I've heard that way too many times. I would be fine if I never heard Colton Looney again.
I
I'd
like
I'd be
Roon.
more than
Roon's
okay.
cool. It's
Yeah, I like
different.
Yeah,
Roon.
it's kind of just something simple, just Rune, because that's what like I've known this kid who has the same name as me. We're both Colton, and we have different last names, and everybody calls him Colton, and they call me Rooney or Rune. Like that's just me. Like
Ah,
I go by Rune more than I go by
he's
Colton.
Colton #1. That's fucked up.
No, it's whatever. I embrace it, and it's whatever. That's what I go by. I go by Rune, I guess, and JT's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's not too hard to figure out. JT.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like that one dude who asked Kevin Durant why he goes by
I was
KD.
just gonna say that. That's so crazy. I was just
Oh,
gonna say that.
he had to have been fired. There's no way.
Why did
I'm a
they call
little
you KD?
I'm a little jealous. It's like such a dude thing to have like your initials just be your new nickname. And like just
Mhm.
like JT is in all the if we had a tier initial nicknames, I would say JT is top 3. JT's up
Hey,
there, AJ,
AJ.
DJ's a great one, but JT is like that's like oh that's a cool dude. That's
What
legit.
about CJ? We just talked about CJ.
CJ's a good one. I like
I
CJ.
you're trying to throw the Colton in there. It's
No, CJ Daniels.
he's got to earn it. He's number 4 for me right now. No.
He do got to earn it.
Okay.
He do got to earn it. Oh man, it was fun talking with you guys. It's Mother's Day. Make sure everybody here appreciated their mother on Mother's Day because this is not obviously posted on Mother's Day. Um, man, it's just so hard to wait till September. It's gonna be a long summer. It's gonna be a long summer, but once training
Mhm.
camp's over, that's really the hard part. Um, but we got a lot to look forward to, man. Hopefully, this will be the greatest season in Rams history, and we cap it off by winning the Super Bowl on my birthday. So that'd be perfect. That would literally be perfect. This is the year to do it. Um, but it's been Rune. Of course, go and follow JT and Tuna. Everything they do, outstanding individuals. It's gonna be all from us. We had a long one today. Um, but as always, it's go Rams around here. So whose house?
Rams
Rams
house.
house.